Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, this is Rick Asbury coming to continue our Bible study into the book of Zechariah. I hope everybody's having a great Friday afternoon. And here in Bellwood, it's been another cloudy. The sun came out for a little while, but it's been another cloudy, rainy day. That's all right. We don't complain about the rain, do we? We need the rain. We need it. So just remember that. We need the rain. So anyway, this has been I had a busy morning. Did physical therapy and breakfast with the family and errands and, but other than that, it's been a pretty decent day. All right. And so anyway, so continue to pray for me about my physical therapy. It's really helping, really. And so I'm just happy about it, really, because I want it to. I didn't think there for a long time that it was going to help. But physical therapist, little by little, so it's been getting a lot better. So, amen. Thank you, Lord. So, all right. Well, so this will be the last lesson until next week. And so we'll be finishing up today the 5th chapter, all right? We're going to be in verses 9, 10, and 11 today. And then this will take us into the 6th chapter. Okay? And I hope I can make sense to you today. I hope, I hope when you watch it, when you're, there's one person watching now. But hope it makes sense. Hope you get encouraged and hope you get, hope you have a better understanding of the book of Zechariah as we go along. I'm learning just as much as y'all are. All right. I've read the book of Zechariah over and over and over, but I've never really studied it. Okay. And so this is as good for me as it is for you. Okay. So let's get started today in Zechariah chapter 5, verses 9 through 11. Okay. So if you go back and remember what we read yesterday, if you go back to verse 8, we did 7 and 8 yesterday. Says, and behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. Now those are two different measurements there, by the way. And he said, this is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of the lead upon the mouth thereof. He didn't want it to escape, right? So then we get into our verses today, 9, 10, and 11. Then lifted up I mine eyes, and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork. We'll get there in a minute. And they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Okay? Now, it says in there a stork. Now, we all know about a stork. We always say that carries the babies, right? And I've heard that since I was a kid. Yep, the stork brought another baby. The stork does not carry babies to women, to families. That's not how that works. Okay, women wish that's how that worked. So, the stork is a big bird, though, as we can see here that it is a strong bird. It's got a wingspan of 7 feet. It's a big old bird. I didn't know what a stork. You see a stork on cartoons and stuff, and I said, "What does one look like from the Bible?" And so I looked into it, and it is a big bird. Okay, now, like I say, it's got that wingspan of 7 feet, and it's probably about 2 or 3 feet high. It looked like a pretty tall bird as well. But it's a strong bird, okay? So we get here, and up there it said 2 women, and wind was in their wings, okay? If you're commenting, I don't know. I can't see it. And maybe y'all can say hi, and let's see what happens. But anyway, whoever's on here, I can't see. If you're not commenting, I can't see it. Even if you're commenting, evidently I can't see it. So I got to figure out why that is. So anyway, 2 women, and wind was in their wings. So since storks are unclean birds, and you can go over to Leviticus chapter 11, verse 19, and Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 18, and you'll see those were they wasn't supposed to eat them. Okay. I was trying to think, because they didn't have a cloven foot, and they didn't chew the cud. Okay. I was thinking a helicopter's going over. I was going, what in the world? A helicopter come over the house earlier, and I thought it was real low, but I went outside to look, and it was just some medical helicopter flying over. But anyway, but it's an unclean bird. This stork is an unclean bird. And of course, I think people today, hunters today, they like to hunt, and I don't know, maybe somebody would try. There might be somebody out there that's ate a stork before. Who knows? I guess it tastes like chicken, right? But anyway, since they are unclean birds, these must be agents of evil. Okay? So if you got the internet, just go over and just look at that about a stork, and go from there. You do your own study behind me, right? I always say, make sure you study behind me. Who knows, I might be wrong. But anyway, so they're demonic forces protective of the wicked secularism who set up the final system of evil. Now you can go over there and talk about talks about the evil there, who set up the final system of evil. That's really like the Roman system, and it would be over there like the European Common Market, or whatever it's called over there. And I think that's what America is going to be swallowed up in. I think it's going to, be, everything is anyway. I think it's going to eventually be a one world government. And I think that'll come in the tribulation period, though. I don't think that'll happen before then. My opinion, I don't know. Um, I don't know that God would allow that to happen before the rapture of the church, but he could. He's God. He can do anything he wants to. But I just think that's going to be in the. It's actually going to be in the tribulation period. But anyway, I think it's going to be the Roman system, and I think it's going to be like the Roman Catholic type system over there. And I was reading some stuff the other day in my commentary on Revelation about the Roman Catholic Church and how rich they are. I guess that's about the way I could word that. They've got a lot of money. Okay, that's one way to put it. So the two women mentioned here are strong because of the wind under their wings and because of the comparison to a stork, which is very strong. And so this wind, okay, hey, if you're commenting, I don't know why I can't see your comments, all right? So I'm trying. I don't know. I could see your comments yesterday. So, I don't know, maybe you say hey and I'll say hey back to you. I don't know. Right. But the wind is strong, isn't it? You look at a tornado. There was bad tornadoes out in Mississippi. Anyway, in that area, just all down through there, right? And so they showed some of the damage, and it was like, you wouldn't, there was these big grain silos. I mean, they were huge, and they were toppled over. It's just amazing what a tornado can do. It can pick up transfer trucks like they're nothing, and put it on top of houses and stuff. It's just amazing. If a tornado goes through a lake or something, yeah, I mean, of course, boats, I don't think boats do weigh, but I'm talking these big ships. If a tornado would go to them, I don't know if it could sink them or not, but it sure would be a ride inside the ship. Okay? So we know that the wind is powerful, right? Strong. Especially if you've been through a tornado, or a hurricane for that matter. Wind is something that is strong. And I used to watch these storm chaser shows. I can't remember the name of them now. But they used to be these shows come on. They were real life out doing these, covering, chasing these tornadoes and stuff. And I've seen like stuff get picked up, and I'm talking heavy stuff, and it gets carried for miles and gets put back down. It's amazing how that works. But the wind is strong. So this is most assuredly a departure of sin from Zion and Jerusalem. So women generally symbolize a country or a city, as the two did in the following scripture over there in Ezekiel chapter 23, verse 2. Look what it says. Son of man. There were two women, the daughters of one mother. Okay? So in this case, they symbolize Samaria and Jerusalem. And these two women could symbolize the apostate church and mystery Babylon. Babylon is talked about in the book of Revelation, over there in like 17, 18, 19, and somewhere in that area. And so it talks about there came out two women. So as the one woman represented the lack of reverence of the Jewish nation, well, look around Look what's going on in college campuses today. So there, you got these protesters over there protesting against Israel, and they're keeping the Jewish students from going to class or going to the library or wherever they're going, or having speakers to come in and all this. And I just have no idea why these colleges, these universities, just don't go in with police or the National Guard, whichever, and just literally take them out. They just let them go. It boggles the mind. Um, Now, I'm not saying go in and hurt them. I mean, in the United States, we have the right to protest, right? But not to do what they're doing. And then they cover up their faces where they can't be seen. I don't know why these universities allow that. I don't know why it even got started. And once it got started, why it just carried on and carried on. And even the professors are egging it on. They're in the middle of it. Um, I don't know if this would be right or not, but um, why don't they take these beanbag, these guns that's got the beanbags in them, because it's hard to break these up. So go in, or they at least put tear gas in there and break the crowd up. I just don't know why they let this go on. Anyway, but um, uh, trying to, okay, I lost my place. So they represented the lack of reverence of the Jewish nation. So these two women who were to carry the ephah, right, got to carry it, in which the woman iniquity was shut up. Okay, so I guess that might be talking about the first part of the tribulation period, where it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows for the first 3.5 years. Of course, then all hell's going to break out the last 3.5 years. And I'm glad I won't be here to see that. But under the weight of a talon of lead may mean the desperate unbelief of the Jews in rejecting the Messiah. They rejected Jesus, didn't they? They don't. You know what? They would rather let a murderer go free than to accept Christ. But that was the plan, though, right? Let's just say, just for talking, let's say the Jews accepted Christ when he came. What if they accepted him right then? Okay, we believe that you're. What if all the Jews accept him? That's what I'm getting at. Well, then there would have been another way for the Gentiles to go to heaven. There would have been another way. But the plan from before the foundation of the world, Jesus was going to come and die on an old rugged cross. The plan never changed. Before the foundation of the world, God knew that the Jews were going to reject him. I mean, he knew it. He knows everything. So the strong wings, like those of a stork, may point out the power and swiftness with which Judea was carried on to fill up the measure of her iniquity and to meet the punishment which she deserved. You know what? Don't we all deserve punishment? You know what? I didn't deserve to be saved. I didn't deserve for Christ to come to Mount Pleasant Baptist Church way up there on the mountain in Rutherford County. I didn't. I wasn't worthy for him to do that. Just like that woman at the well wasn't worthy. but he went to her, right? And so we're not worthy. Really, we're really not worthy for him to do that. But our iniquity was full, wasn't it? And to meet the punishment which she deserved. Well, what punishment do we deserve? You ever thought about that? You know what? Jesus Christ didn't deserve to be punished. He came and he was the propitiation. He was our substitute. He was our stand-in. You can use every word you want to use there as a substitute, stand-in, whatever. That's what he came to be, because he loved us that much and he didn't want us to die and go to hell. And he knew that that would happen if we didn't have a Savior. It goes on there to say, between the earth and the heaven, sins against God and man. Sins which heaven and earth contemplated with horror. You know what? There's a lot of sin in this world that, well, let me just look at it this way. In the tribulation period, the last 3.5 years of that tribulation period, it's going to be hell on earth. Horror. Men are begging to die, but they can't. And think about that. You want to die, but you can't. You want to get, the pain's too much for you, but guess what? You can't get away from it. Forever. That's what's going to happen. Or the Babylonians and the Romans may be intended by the two women who carried the Jewish ephod to its final punishment. You know what? That could be pretty good, because if you look over there in Revelation, I think this, you look at Zechariah here and look at the book of Revelation, boy, it goes hand in hand just about. So, if you're commenting, I can't see your comments, okay? So, I wish I could, but I think it could be that the Babylonians and the Romans were intended by these two women here. The Chaldeans ruined Judea before the advent of the Lord, before he, right? Yep. And then the Romans shortly after. So then we get to verse 11. I don't know if I read all of that or not. Verse 11. And he said unto me, to build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. The destination of the women bearing the basket was Shinar, an older word designating Babylon. Over in Genesis chapter 10, verse 10, look at it. Look what it says. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, oh boy, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. And I don't know if I pronounced all them words right, but it goes to Babel. Look at that. Could be talking about the Tower of Babel as a symbol of opposition against God. You know, remember what they said? We're going to build a tower to heaven. Now, I don't know that they could actually have built a tower that would have reached, it might have reached the sky, right? We have skyscrapers today. We call them skyscrapers, but they're far from touching the sky, right? Oh, excuse me. Oh. Sorry. Didn't sleep good last night. But they're far from touching the sky, right? And what did God said? Well, let's go down and see what's going on here. It's my terminology. Let's go down and see what's going on here. And so, they were trying to build their own way to heaven, is what they were trying to do. And guess what? You can't build your own way to heaven. You can't. I don't care how many skyscrapers you build. You know what? You can only get so far in the sky before that building won't be able to stand anymore. Because when you get up so many feet in the air, the jet stream is pretty strong. And I watched Brad Panovich on WCNC, Channel 36 in Charlotte. That's where we get our, news from. That's where I don't watch necessarily the news, the local news. I do watch the weather occasionally. But I listen to him. He's now he can't be 100% perfect, right? He's a man. He's doing his best. But I like him. He explains stuff in simple terms. And so, he talks about the upper layers of the jet stream up there when we're having storms, like thunderstorms and stuff. He talks about the jet stream. Some of it's going to come down and mix with these storms. And so, but if you got so far, if you build if you've ever been, okay, I've been in the Westin Hotel back in '93. I went down to see the North Carolina Tar Heels play the Mississippi State, whatever they're called, Mississippi State Tigers, whoever they're called, Mississippi State, I can't remember. But they had a cowbell. I remember that. But anyway, where we stayed in the Westin Hotel, and we were on the 35th floor. You could feel the building move. You could. And so I can only imagine. So you take, that was 36 stories. So go another 36 stories. And I don't know, I don't know what the highest building in the world is, how many floors up it is. But I can only imagine if you got to 60 floors, how much it would go this way. So they were building this Tower of Babel. They were trying to build their own way to heaven, trying to get to heaven on their own merit, and you can't do that. So the older word is used possibly to recall the Tower of Babel as a symbol of opposition against God, and there it will be placed in a temple and set on a base or pedestal as an idol. Okay? There is going to be an idol. You look over there, the devil, the Antichrist, is going to set himself up as God in the temple over there during the second half of the tribulation period. And so it's just not going to be a fun time. Okay? So again, the vision is unmistakably looking forward to the final Babylon, and that would be of Revelation chapter 17 and 18 at the second coming of Christ. That's Malachi chapter 4, verses 1 through 3. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, capital Lord, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness arise with healing in his wings. Now, that's not talking about the literal sun. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? You know what? I was watching the news on Fox News. I watched this show called The Will Kane Show, and I think it was there. I think this is where I saw it. And they were talking about over in Britain, over in that part of the world, they were talking about trying to do an experiment so they can blot out the sun. How stupid are these people that they think, no, that they believe they can blot out the sun? Who made the sun? God made it. You can't blot that out. You can't. They're trying to control climate change or whatever it's called, global warming. You know what? We couldn't destroy this planet if we tried. You know what? You could take all the nuclear weapons that the United States have and Russia has and whoever else has any, and you could blow them up at the same time, and you couldn't destroy this planet. You know why? Because God made it, and God's going to be the one to destroy it. So these people that keep saying climate change, global warming, trust me, we couldn't destroy this planet if we tried. Now, we are supposed to be good hosts, good stewards, right? Okay, so so that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. You know what? He could also be talking about the 144,000 Jews there. So this Shinar was an idolatrous land. They worshipped idols. That's what it's getting at. That's a hard word for me to say. Idolatrous land. Shinar and Babylon are the same area. Okay? So this seems to be speaking of carrying this ephod to Babylon and setting up some place to worship a sensual, false god there. Don't think this is not going to happen. Okay? There's people out there worshiping sensual gods already. Sure are. They're worshiping all kind of gods out there today. The sun, the moon, the planet, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, all these things. Okay? The sins of Zion are gone and gathered in this evil place where the enemies of God dwell. So what is that talking about? That sounds to me like the Antichrist is going to take up and he's going to become, in his mind, he's going to become God. The devil's going to give him all this power. And he's going to be able to do all these wonders, all these things that you would think that it was actually Christ himself. But it's just not going to be that way. And then the Antichrist, the false prophet, the devil, they're going to be cast into the lake of fire alive, it says. This could be a warning for all of God's people to get out of physical Babylon, then, and a warning to all believers in Christ to get out of spiritual Babylon now. There's a lot of worldly Christians out there today. I think that's what this is talking about. They think that they can have one foot in the church and one foot in the world, and it'll all go mesh together. But it just don't do that. You can look around at churches today who have rock bands in there. They have heavy metal bands in there that are playing Christian lyrics. Okay, that's from the devil. Okay, that's what all the kids are running to. At our church, we don't have a big crowd, but I know a way to get a crowd in there. I know how we can grow our church. It won't be the right way, but I know how to do it. All you have to do is don't preach on sin. Don't preach from a King James Bible. Get you a rock band and bring that in, a heavy metal rock band. You set up a stage. You have strobe lights, and you make it look like it's you're in a club. Okay, you get a preacher who he don't wear a suit. He wears some skinny jeans and a t-shirt that's 2 or 3 sizes too small. Like I say, and you can grow, man, that church, when the word gets out, you'll have a crowd. There's churches on TV that you can watch. They have a crowd because they don't preach on sin, and they use probably a non-inspired version, whatever you want to call that, or some other alphabet book, and that's all you have to do. Just don't preach on sin. Now, there are churches out there today. I know of one in Shelby, North Carolina. The pastor is straight as an arrow. He preaches out of a King James Bible. The only thing is they got contemporary music, but he's straight as an arrow. I'm not going to tell you the name of the church or the pastor. I really like him. I really do. But Christians are supposed to be separated people, right? We're supposed to be different from the world, separated, set apart, sanctified, right? Set apart. We are in the world, but we must not be of the world. That's the whole thing there. Yeah, we got to live in this world. We're saved, but we don't have to be of the world. You understand? And there's a lot of churches out there today. They call themselves a church. It's nothing more than a social gathering place. Okay? Ichabod has been wrote above the door. The glory of the Lord has departed. Okay? There's a lot of churches out there in this world today that God is not within 1,000,000 miles of. I shouldn't say 1,000,000, but that's a true statement, though. We are so we're supposed to be different when we're out at Walmart or wherever we are, on our job, around our family, wherever it is. We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to be the same people in church and out of church. I know there's people that they act all holy and the best Christian ever in church, and then you see them out of church, and they're using foul language and they're drinking. And hey, let me just tell you, the Bible does not give you the right. I don't know what the word there is, but you're not supposed to drink. There's Christians out there who believe, yeah, it's not bad to have a social drink. You can drink all you want. No. When you get saved, you're not supposed to take in any alcohol. Your body, what's it say? Your body is supposed to be the temple. Well, you know what? I don't treat my body like the temple because I eat too much. I like to eat. And that's not right. That's just as wrong as drinking or any other thing, right? Now, let me just also say, though, drinking or any of this, listening to a rock band, listening to country music, it won't send you to hell. The only thing that's going to send you to hell is rejection of Jesus Christ. Now, I just believe that once you get saved, you won't want to do those things. When I was, me and my wife was talking about this. I don't know how y'all feel about this, but we watch American Idol. Okay, now they're not my idols, all right? I just like the TV show. I don't follow them after they get off that show. All this, I don't know if it's just, you got these, this year on the show, they have this black guy who is a true Christian, and all he sings on there is gospel music. And so you can't make a lot of money touring the country and being a gospel singer. All right. But anyway, there's music that comes on there, and I'm going, they'll sing a song and they'll say, "Wow, I had that album, that song's on." You know what? Once I got saved, I got rid of all of my music, and I listened to heavy metal and rock and a little bit of everything. But I got rid of it all. Every bit of it. I don't have none now. I used to have albums, CDs on top of CDs. Okay? But once I got saved, they all left. Got rid of them. You know what? When I'm in a car by myself, well, even if me and the wife's in the car, we don't turn on the radio. I mean, like I say, listening to music won't send you to hell or nothing, but I don't know. I just don't listen to it. I really don't. Here lately in the car, we have one of them satellite radios. I've been listening to Fox News going down the road, and that was yesterday, and a little bit today. I listened to Preacher Sunday on my way home from physical therapy today. He had just come on, and so I started listening to him, and I listened to him all the way home. So anyway, we must walk holy before our God, right? Because Babel, the Tower of Babel, that was a symbol of the evil world. So, hope you got something out of this Bible study today. I hope I didn't run too many rabbits, and maybe I caught a couple, I don't know. But, anywho, so come Wednesday, Lord willing, Wednesday of next week, we'll be in the 6th chapter of Zechariah, right? So I hope you got something out of it anyway. And I do thank you. You don't know how much I thank you for listening, watching. I can't see your comments. I'll see them after, after I stop this thing, I'll be able to see your comments. But I do. You just don't know how much it means to me that you watch. Now, there's probably going to come a time where I'm going to get off of Facebook as far as videos. I think I'm going to follow in the steps of Preacher Porter, because these videos don't get saved. And I don't know when this is going to happen. But you know what? I don't know. It's just, I don't know how many people would listen to me if I go straight to YouTube. I don't know how many people would come over there and actually listen. I would hope people would still listen to me. I hope they would come over to my page and listen. So, but anyway, Rick Asbury Bible Studies. If you hadn't done it, go ahead and subscribe. to my channel, Rick Asbury Bible Studies on YouTube. Tell your neighbors and your enemies and your friends and your family. Tell everybody about it. I'm telling you. I use the King James Bible, nothing but the King James Bible. I'm not the best Bible teacher. I know that. I'm nowhere near a scholar. I know more about other books than I know about other ones. So, like 2 Thessalonians, I'm a little, I sort of understand that better. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But Zechariah, I'm learning just as much as y'all are. Okay? And I'm enjoying it, and I hope y'all are. But anyway, we're going to start chapter 6, Lord willing, on Wednesday the 30th. What about that? So, y'all be praying for me, because on Monday and Tuesday of next week, I got physical therapy back to back on those 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, and so I can only imagine what I'm gonna feel, but anyway, that's how it's gonna work out for next week. So it's hard to believe that we're fixing to go into the month of May. Really is. So my granddaughter has less than 30 days left in school. So I don't know. I think she'll probably spend a good bit of time here, but I don't know. We'll see. She's getting to that age now. She might go over to her friend's house and all this stuff, you know. Anyway, if you're able, if you're not working, not sick, you're not a shut-in, but if you're able to go to church on Sunday, you need to be there. Your pastor is looking for you. Amen. So, all right. Hope y'all have a great weekend. And until next time, may God bless you.